All right. One thing is for sure is as time goes, I can see my brain just not thinking logical. So I will start to bring back things that I put in the last videos and show the screenshots of people who are trying to make you subscribe to these things. As I said before, what's happening to me, I've talked about it a long time ago now, 3 years. In 2020, I was talking about how people who are trying to present themselves as professionals, as credible, are trying to sell this facade of reality they put together. They obviously do this pedophilia type of torture. It's funny how they try to make me to be convinced based on things that are non-relatable. And I realized that work is being employed in these ways where you work with people. I work with people, clients, everybody's around. I know that it's part of the ecosystem that's trying to make you accept these nasty pedophilia things that almost all target individuals go through. It's funny how illogical they make themselves be in order to make you believe things that are obviously falsified. But they are people who are usually very smart people. But it's part of these tactics to get you to accept these nasty things. They do this pedophilia type of torture so systematically that when they surveyed 1,000 people going through this targeted program where they manipulate people, almost all of them, meaning that's a high percentage of them, and 1,000 is not a small number of people to survey. It's a large number. So if out of 1,000 people, majority says they do get this child porn implanted in their mind. Now, obviously, what you're experiencing, you know yourself that this is not naturally happening. Your ecosystem, which includes employers, and I made these videos way before I even started working, like months before I started working with these people that I'm working with today. And it's funny when I go back and watch these videos, and I'm like literally describing what I'm seeing in front of me. It's incredible to be like seeing like in 2023, and I'm reading what I'm seeing, what I wrote down in 2020 before working with these people. I'm like, I literally talked about you before seeing you, because it was happening, but before, it was already happening before I started working with them. But when you're actually employed, you see people who are really trying to use these utmost ways of trying to make you feel doubtful. I have zero doubts. Now, mind you, every time the way they try to create doubt is like when you're working and you do this and that, they're like, oh, you see, this is like that, so this pedophilia type of torture is you. We matched it, we investigated. And you're like, do you understand that I know this technology is run by the government, and this technology has the ability to rewire your brain? Do you think this just stupid people working this? Just because there's children around here that are childlike individuals, do you think I don't know that the level of genius it takes to create this type of technology? And this is the government, and we're talking about DARPA, the brain of we're talking about some of the smartest human beings involved in doing this technology. So you're thinking that I'm going to think there's only going to be stupidity and no, but they're going to try to present a very smart, credible individual, but they're going to dumb themselves down, and all of a sudden you find yourself be like, either I'm becoming a genius or these people have to dumb themselves down. Because you see things that are just everyday things where they have nothing to do with your targeting. And you see them being able to interact in a proper way. And then you see them just turning into something else. And of course what they're doing is trying to gaslight you into accepting these things. Because they know, first of all, forget about the fact that you're trying to delude yourself in these pedophilia things. It's just, so you mean like at 1,000 subjects that have been surveyed, you're saying that the pedophilia type of torture is just happening to them, but not like, obviously they have to dumb themselves down. And they try to frustrate me. And I'm listening to this person who literally, I can see they're just looking for things to try to annoy me. And at this point, at first I was like, I'll go back and forth. I was like, no, listen, do your thing. You understand that I know what you guys do. You guys are torturing women and children. Pedophilia type of torture is what you do. The agencies that actually work on this program are filled with pedophiles. These kids over there are not in charge of these things. You know what you're part of. I'm not going to let you live your fantasies. This is not a femme fatale group of women that die for it. They're out here killing kids, infants. You should see an intellectual woman and men try to dumb themselves down into blocking that out. They're renowned to force people to think in these disgusting ways. I'm listening to these people, and they're all smirking. Yeah. I'm like, trash. I know you do this to kids. Go watch my video in 2020, TI Day 2020. You'll see me saying this is impacting men and women and children all around the world. Do you think because somehow this metric looks this way, now I'm going to be like, oh my gosh, I have doubts. I have doubt that you do the pedophilia type of torture. I have doubt that this thing is nobody's money. People are playing with. They were having this thing. There was this dialogue that was so stupid in my brain, and that's when you know your brain is poisoned by this nonsensicalness, and your clear thoughts are just disappearing. I was looking because I gave some recommendation, and I was looking at things, and they're like, "You see, your recommendation was wrong. You were saying this was," and I'm looking at back. It's like actually more valid recommendation, but they're like, "You see that recommendation? You see your lie, so we matched." And use that as like, you should be doubtful. We matched. It's you. You see, remember your girlfriend, what at the time, quote unquote, when she said that you start imagining that's what we're doing right now. It's you. You're like, these people really think that. Do you understand how? And because your brain is so poisoned, your rationality is so poisoned with this nonsensicalness, that they're like, oh my gosh, you see. The way you recommended this thing about work is proof that these things we do to you is matching. And you hear these people like literally try to gaslight you. So when I say this, and if you're not a target individual or your brain is not being manipulated by the V2K, you start looking at it as like, this is illogical as it gets. What does he have to do? You're talking about work. They're talking about how your brain is being manipulated. What does he have to do? They try to make any moment where you do something off, or something look off, or if you're not writing this, you see that's proof, because that means the way you're assessing what's happening to you is wrong. What? I don't need to. I know me. I don't know if this drug is gonna sell. Like, and this is how they try to break you, and they just be like, oh, and then they go into the scriptive things. How they gonna be tortured? How they get cut in pieces? These people have to die. I see genius. I see smart. Some of the most analytical individuals having to dumb themselves down to a point you don't even understand. And you look at these people, and you're like, you just made me feel like a genius. When in reality, I'm sure you have more logic than me. Not to say that I'm not a logical person, but I'm like, I can see you obviously having to dumb yourself down. And because I'm not aligned with what's going on with my brain, I know it's being poisoned with illogicalness. Because these people have this technology that can rewire your brain and manipulate your brain in these illogical ways that can take anything. Let's say I go to the supermarket. I want to buy something. I buy the wrong thing. They're like, you see? We matched. Let's say you send an email and you forget to send something. You see? We matched. Let's just say I am reviewing a report and I'm not seeing one number over there and I didn't see this number. It's like, oh, we matched. Die in hell. So I'm attacking individuals, regardless of what's going to happen to me. I understand. That's why I don't subscribe with reality, that this reality they put together. I don't understand that people are trying to get to frustrate me, try to get to make me lose my mind. I'm like, listen, there's no need. I made my points. And I'm going to be clear. If you want the reaction, I'm not going to give you that reaction. But I'll see for the pedophiles that you guys are. I saw this person. They were doing this back and forth. It's like, you're going to start barking. Because I'm like, I'm doing this thing. He's like, he brought like a point. As if I don't, in 2 seconds, I cannot listen to a survey. A survey. Calling out the pedophilia type of torture being a systematic tactic to break people down. You see a grown man try to block you, try to create this fantasy? He literally just worked all night to try to make me think in this pedophilia ways. Make me imagine the most disturbing dreams. And he's just going to walk around. Do you understand? People like that, reality hits them in a way that's unbelievable. Well, me, I'm there trying to dumb me. You see why we match? He's like, stop it. I know what you guys do. I understand. I understand what this is supposed to be done. You think this is going to make me subscribe to this? Are you serious? How dumb do you think I'm going to let you live your fantasy for? Do you think this me about this product, this whatever these prescriptions have to do with what you're doing to me. These people are delusional, and they're like, you molest. These people utilize this technology that is obviously the government, entities, intelligence community, where there's a bunch of pedophiles. I had nothing to do with that. I just use common sense, obviousness. You have obviousness, the level of obviousness they have to escape from. I don't even have to use the intellect. My brain doesn't even need to go deeper. It's just super obvious, and things just comes out. Guess those entities who happen to have a bunch of pedophiles in this agency. This technology has the ability to molest with remotely. And guess who they target sometimes? Children. Sexual torture. Guess the tactics they use? Scripts. To get you to subscribe to this false reality. And they're like, we connect. Trash. Guess who's talking about the pedophilia type of torture? Almost all target individuals that have been sampled. 1,000. Let me connect this. Let me use my special genius brain. Yeah. I've been saying that before that. I said, oh, no, you're right. My recommendation makes your point. Or maybe the psyop. Oh, let me see. Maybe because you're like some kind of women or so. Oh, let me listen to this woman saying, oh no, maybe she's talking about black women, but not that. Explain to me how I cannot. The obviousness of what they do is just clear. And you see people at work try to like frustrate you. Oh yeah, you see the sales were like this. And first of all, you don't have even direct connection to those sales. Some of the things I'm listening to is like, did they really try? They simplify things to block out reality. I'm in marketing, and in the products I sell, it's not even like if you want to buy something, I don't want to go into specifics. You can even like you yourself needs a referral or a third party to let you buy this thing. In my marketing, I can bring somebody who's interested in that. They can come, see, be very interested. The next part can be a whole different factor that impacts the sales. Now, of course, the client knows that, but they're trying to look away to be like, oh, you see that leverage. Not, of course, calling out the fact that it's other factors that might be pushing this reason of. Now, I understand that. Now, if it was in the real world, I'll be like, yes, let's look into it. But now I'm like, okay. You are yourself simplifying things that shouldn't be that simplified. But forget about that. This is not even going to make me be subscriptive to these pedophilia things. What does your sale of your product have to do with me being manipulated? Do you understand how illogical they want you to be? Do you see grown people, intellectuals, rational, doing their best to block it out? By the way, they try to play the femme fatale. You know there's a lot of women being tortured by them? A lot of women. The reason why I said the word pedophilia type of torture is because a woman who was being tortured and even raped with the pedophilia type of torture manipulated in her brain, in her dreams, in her thoughts. And you see this trash. So, oh, you're going to die for it. Do you know they tortured children? Infants, 3-week-old. 3-year-old tortured sexually. And they want me to let them live the fantasy? I mean, we'll talk about testimonials in 2018. Two of my target individuals. I live in this world ecosystem where my perps wanted to live in this fantasy. In 2020, I talked about this. I said this, and I'm going to paraphrase. I'm going to give a summary of what I said in my description. I released a video called Vilify. And I said that, and it's not exactly, I've read it properly. I was like, for this vilification to work, for this gaslighting to work, they use people who you look at in a credible way. Young professional, intellectuals of some sorts, people who seem to be very rational, parents with their kids, even, and their children even involved in it. And they're using these people in order for you to see them as credible. So when they say like, oh, we connected, you look at it, they look very rational. Maybe they're connecting. But the reality is what they're doing is they want to create this psyops to make themselves appear like people that are very credible. When they do this illogical, nonsensical thing, you know it makes no sense. But because these people are people with some kind of respectable positions or whatever, and they're saying this, then you should be subscriptive to this. It's obvious. I'm not a genius, but I can see that happen. It's like, oh my gosh, she just dumbed herself down in this second. You match with what? The pedophilia type of torture? And now they're like, and sometimes I listen to them talk and listen to the obvious testimonial. And forget the fact that the agency that obviously in charge of this, because now at this point they were trying to play like, oh, it's our money, it's our torture, whatever. It's obviously the government doing this. It doesn't take much. You hear these people, this trash contracted by these agencies are filled with pedophiles. They're filled with pedophiles, awkward. And you hear this trash, no, we match. Yeah, you match with what you do to people, the pedophilia type of torture. I'm sorry that now that these things are up and everybody knows about the pedophilia type of torture, and that people can see that on YouTube. And people have testified and specifically called out the pedophilia type of torture. And what you're matching with is what you've been doing. You're matching with the protocol ways of torturing people. And somebody who tells me about the cells is not going to make me subscribe to these things. To all my target individuals, stay strong and know that justice will be done. These people have been embarrassed. The entities that contract this low life are filled with pedophiles. They do the pedophilia type of torture. And they delude themselves in this reality they put together while they actually torture even children. I can press play in front of this trash. It's like, listen, I know what you do to kids. And they're like, no, you abuse. Remember what you did as a kid? Talking about me as in 8th grade. Do you know what they do to children? Do you know they even suffocate them? Forget about, not only just the sexual torture, they suffocate kids. They blind them. 9-year-old kid blinded by this trash. So to all my target individual, see them for what they are in whatever position they're in, and however they try to present themselves, and however they try to create these things. I made a video on January 2021, maybe a full month after I got hired. I was like, these people are part of this targeting. I can go back in that video right now. I can put this description under here. And literally say, my employer is involved in my targeting. A month when I started working. In 2021. Do you understand? It was clear. It is very clear. They know that something's going to come back to them. I understand they want to escape for now, enjoy these moments while they can. There'll be an end. For me, it'll be torture and torment. But they don't know any of what's going to happen to them. It's obvious they do the pedophilia type of torture. They'll be humiliated by so many others. They think they can make you subscribe when you know not only they work with pedophiles, but they do the pedophilia type of torture and they torture children. What they've done to women is horrible. And when they play this femme fatale, feminist, like, no, we're doing it for this woman because it's like, that woman, oh, what about this 1,000 women who talks about what's happening to them and being raped every day? You forget about them. Oh, how convenient. Trash now. I know what you guys do. I know who I am. I know who I'm not. And I know what this technology is capable. It's amazing. It can rewire your brain and manipulate your memories. And even the bottom feeders here can be geniuses in front of you because of this technology. And the people in front of you who are supposed to present themselves as this like logical, rational people who are just like, you're going to die for it. How many people died for it? How many women and children, you piece of shit? So I'm not talking individuals, stay strong and know that justice will be done.